How's it going, guys? My name is Jared Ace and welcome back to MoneyMetEish. Last week I had this idea, this pipe dream, if you would, that Orbvest and EasyEquities would somehow come together and form some sort of partnership that would really benefit South African investors, and so I tweeted both companies, and I must say the initial responses seem very positive. So my playing corporate Cupid, in a way, seems to have sparked some sort of little fire. We'll have to see if that love grows and something actually comes out of it. I am not so secretly very excited. And so I asked the MoneyMetEish EasyEquities community if they knew who Orbvest is and what they do, and 84% didn't. So I asked you guys if you wanted a video describing exactly what Orbvest is and what they do, and 88% did. So here we are, this is that video. You can also see that we are in the new studio, although we haven't really got everything up and running the way that we wanted yet, so it's still a work in progress, but we're getting there slowly but surely. Before we get into the video though, please remember that my videos do not constitute financial advice and are meant for edutainment purposes only, as I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. Today's video is also not sponsored by Orbvest in any way, and this is not an ad, but maybe if enough people get to see it and enough people hit the like button and subscribe down below, Orbvest might see the video and maybe they would like to turn this into a not-so-blank cup. Wink wink, nudge nudge. So Orbvest, if you do happen to see this, please contact us for more information about our full sponsorship packages. Even if you're not Orbvest, contact us at moneymeteish@gmail.com to find out about our full sponsorship rates and sponsorship packages. Now that we've done all the housekeeping, let's get on with the video. Who or what is Orbvest? Mrs. Met Eish and I believe that the best way for us to build wealth over time is first to live below our means and invest in a different variety of assets to create wealth for the long term. Although we focus mainly on our EasyEquities portfolio on this channel, it only makes up a portion of the total Met Eish investment portfolio. We would like to diversify our portfolio into a whole bunch of different assets such as gold, property, and even, yes, a little bit of crypto here and there. And we have long been playing with the idea or looking at the prospects of buying and renting property in South Africa, or even possibly buying a property and turning it into an Airbnb. But there have always been factors which have made these options less attractive or not so possible for us at the moment than investing in the stock market, and so that's where we have put the vast majority of our efforts. EasyEquities does allow you to invest in properties through Easy Properties, but all of the properties available are residential properties, and personally I would rather be invested in properties such as industrial or commercial properties. But to invest in these types of properties, be they investing in factories or investing in industrial parks or even hospitals, require you to either buy into a listed property company like Growthpoint or Hyprop or Equities, or require you to have WhatsApp money to go out and just buy the building for yourself. And since we are MoneyMetEish and not MoneyMet money, we just can't afford to do that. And that is where Orbvest comes in. Orbvest is a global real estate company with a hyper focus on acquiring stable, income-producing medical buildings in the USA, and they are currently in the process of raising capital for 2 new buildings, Medical 38 and Medical 40, and as the names suggest, there have been 37 previous buildings. The company is registered in the Seychelles and was founded in 2014 by a group of South African investors and entrepreneurs who wanted to give South African investors greater access to quality international real estate assets and have decades of experience in the online and real estate space, with the COO, Justin Clark, having co-founded Private Property, and CEO, Martin Freeman, being one of the founding members of Bayport, which was later acquired by Transaction Capital. To date, they have purchased 40 medical office buildings and successfully exited 10 buildings, and currently have over 1.5 million square feet of real estate under management across 6 US states, such as Texas, Nevada, and Florida, all of which are warmer states with growing populations. In the USA, 10,000 people turn 65 every single day. And older people obviously need more medical services. These are states where there are more older people. Florida, for example, is basically America's retirement village and has a huge elderly population, and so the demand for medical services in that state is enormous. The company focuses on buildings which have long-term leases with medical tenants, such as doctors, chiropractors, dentists, and even the United States government in some cases. And these tenants are great because they very seldom, if ever, move their practice once they are in the building. The company also focuses on medical buildings which are in close proximity to hospitals, which is where a lot of these doctors also work. Orbvest curates a list of possible buildings which you can choose to invest in from your online wallet. Your investment is limited to that building, so you don't pay for any assets that you don't want. You choose the exact building that you want to invest in, and that is the building that you pay to invest in. Each building is a separate listed entity on the Seychelles Stock Exchange or the Merge Exchange, and is sponsored by PKF Capital, which is a licensed securities dealer and who also act as the custodian of your funds in your Orbvest wallet. I came across Orbvest in 2019 when I heard about them on BizNews, and I immediately got very excited and got hold of the company, but sadly we were unable to invest with them because of one teensy-weensy little problem we had, which was that the minimum buy-in required to invest with Orbvest is $5,000 US, or roughly 75,000 Rand. Yeah, it's a lot of money. It is not cheap. And so we kind of thought, maybe later, not right now. To get started investing with Orbvest, you first need to register for your online wallet. And once you have funded your account, you can choose from the available individual portfolios, which are these medical buildings. Sometimes it's just one building, sometimes a portfolio might be made up of 3 or 4 different buildings that they've all put together. Each building comes with a full prospectus, since they are all individually listed entities on the Merge Exchange, and so they all have to come with specific pre-listing documents. If you decide, however, that investing in one building is not necessarily for you, you want to diversify out of just being in one building, you can choose to invest in an Orbvest Diversified Holding or ODH product, which is sort of similar to an ETF in that you get a small percentage of a collection of different buildings diversified across different states. Remember, in the USA, each state has its own laws and its own tax system. So there will be different regulations, laws, and taxes which apply to the different buildings in the different states. If you decide that you don't want to put all of your 75,000 eggs into one basket, at least 75,000 eggs into one basket, you can choose to diversify them across different buildings in different states, which is what we would prefer to do. Orbvest owns the building for 5 years and then it sells it. This is like a hardline non-negotiable with the company. They will not own a building for more than 5 years. This also means that you need to give them your money for 5 years, but you do get quarterly dividends paid in dollars as well as your share of the sale price when the building is sold at the end of that 5-year period. Anybody can invest with Orbvest as long as they meet the minimum investment requirements, which is that $5,000, and the company services investors from all over the world. But being South African, they have a specific focus on South Africa and South African investors, with a percentage of each portfolio set aside for South African investors. Now, you make your money in two ways. You get paid your quarterly dividend, and you get your capital appreciation, all of which is paid to you in US dollars. In the prospectus, Orbvest states that their intention for each building is to return between 7 and 9% annually in a dollar-denominated dividend. Each building invested in also has a target internal rate of return, or IRR, of about 10 to 18%, so let's call it 14% just to average it out, an IRR of 14% over the 5-year investment period. All of this money, your dividends, and the money that you get paid out with the capital appreciation when the building is sold, will be made available and paid to you into your Orbvest online wallet. And from there, you can either choose to reinvest the money or you can choose to withdraw it. It's entirely up to you. Now, if you decide to withdraw this money, you will be taxed at your personal income tax rate and not at a capital gains tax or at a dividend withholding tax, which means that you're obviously going to have to speak to your personal tax consultant in this regard. Once again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, very, very far away from a tax expert. If you need tax help, not this guy. Please consult your own tax consultant. Investing with Orbvest, as investing with everything, comes with some pros and cons. The pros are that, like with a REIT or a listed property company, you don't have to worry about the day-to-day operations or maintenance of the building. You get paid in hard currency, being the US dollar, and you only get the building that you choose to invest in. If you choose a specific hospital, you don't need to worry about what the tenants in a different hospital or a different building are doing. Your investment is limited to only that building, and you don't have to worry about them taking funds from your pot, from your building, to go and buy a different building. Each one is a specifically registered company. Each building is an individual entity, and so they can't just be chopping and changing, being like, oh, I want some money from building number 12, and I think we'll put that money in building 13, and it doesn't work like that. Each building is its own registered and listed entity. Some of the cons are that your funds are locked away for the 5-year investment period, which really actually isn't so much of a con because it really allows you to just put it there and forget about it. Another con is that you are potentially going to be taxed at a higher rate than the CGT or DWT rate if your personal income tax rate is in a higher income tax bracket. And the biggest con is the massive $5,000 you need just to get your foot in the door. But that's where I think Orbvest and EasyEquities can have a really great little partnership.
Aww.
In December last year, Orbvest had a special for South African investors only, where they reduced the minimum buy-in required from that 5,000 shock horror amount to only 1,000 US dollars. Now, 1,000 US dollars is a lot less than 5, obviously, but it is still a huge amount of money. And CEO Martin Freeman stated a few weeks ago in an interview with BizNews that they were looking at other ways to reduce that threshold so that more South Africans can have access to these assets. They didn't give an idea of what they were going to do or how they were going to do it, but the idea is there. Their intention is there. In an interview on the Easy Does It podcast earlier this month, Purple Group CEO Charles Savage said that EasyEquities will be adding about 3 international properties to their offerings in the course of the year. And when I heard this, I thought that this just seems like this match would work so well. It really seems like a match made in heaven. Orbvest wants a platform to allow more South Africans to gain access to their offerings, and EasyEquities is looking for properties internationally. It seems like a match made in heaven, but we'll have to see if anything really comes from it. Maybe if you're watching this, go on Twitter and tell them that you think it's a good idea. if you do. Maybe that'll bump up the chances that something might actually happen. I really hope that they can get some sort of deal done and permanently lower that minimum investment required for us South African investors. And I think EasyProperties, with the backing of a million-strong EasyEquities army of investors and die-hard fans, is the perfect partner to do this. Orbvest can benefit from having access to the million-strong EasyEquities investors, and EasyProperties can benefit from offering international properties on the platform that have been pre-selected and curated by an experienced team in the United States. They'll also have the ability to diversify their holdings from a purely residential property platform, which they are at the moment. I really hope something does get done, even though it will not really impact our plans to invest with Orbvest. I mentioned earlier that I heard about Orbvest for the first time in early 2019, and Mrs. Met Eish and I have since that time been saving up to get to that massive $5,000 limit, and we are almost there. We've been saving really hard since 2019, but the time has almost come. There have been bumps and mishaps and lockdowns along the way, but we will finally be able to invest and fund our Orbvest account in July this year. So that's a basic introduction to Orbvest and what they do and where they do it and where I think the benefit lies for both these companies. I'll drop the link to the Orbvest website down below for you to just have a look at. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. You can also follow MoneyMetEish on Twitter and Instagram and everywhere where MoneyMetEishes are. Thanks for watching and happy investing.